tuned in to the outro for some cringe-worthy insight. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, dudes and dudettes. This week's D.I.Y is going to take a little bit of advanced prep unless you have a house full of people and really thirsty. This week's D.I.Y is also going to be really fun if you live in a small town or somewhere on a busy street where a lot of people drive or walk by, because this week's D.I.Y is going to be a body bag.
Just be warned, you might get a few phone calls from the local authorities.
But it's all legal.
We started off with the head. It's always best to start at the top of the body, and here we just used a simple milk jug. We put a little bit of newspaper at the top to pad it some and make it more of a round shape instead of weird and square shaped. This will make it look more believable and more like a head. Next, we're going to do the shoulders. For this, I used a bigger jug. In my case, it was a Crisco oil jug, but whatever you have that's going to be bigger and more shoulder-like is going to work better. We added a little bit of padding to each end after covering the whole jug with a piece of newspaper, just so it was a little bit easier to stick everything together. About 4 balls of newspaper, and it gave us a nice rounded shoulder shape. For the chest area, we took 2 milk jugs and taped those together.
Life hack activate.
Adding a little bit of padding on the front, back, and around the sides after it was in the bottom of the bag. And then we took 1 additional jug and put it underneath. Here you can see us making the feet. You start out with small balls of paper, and you're going to layer those together with bigger sheets until you get a nice sized foot. Now remember, when you tape these, it's going to compress a little bit, so you want to make it a little bit bigger than what you want. For the legs, we used plastic grocery bags to give a little bit extra floof in them and covered those with newspaper. To make the upper part, we just took a plastic bag and stuffed it full of newspaper. You can make these separately, and using the juice cartons or maybe even more milk cartons would work really well here to give it extra structure, but it's not necessary if you don't want to do it. Stretched it over to start joining the 4 main pieces together. We started by joining the top section, the torso and the head together in one, and we stretched it out around the head area and further down so that we could use that bag to connect to the lower section. And we just took the feet and put those into another trash bag and then put the upper part of the legs in above that and combined those together that way. Then we put both of the bags together and tied them. After this, we took another trash bag and ripped it in half and used it to cover the head area and around the waist where we had red ties, and that's just to hide a few of the imperfections. Our logos and things from the newspaper and the milk jugs were showing through, so this helped hide that. And then the red at the waist was very noticeable, so just having that 1 extra layer really helped hide that, and it didn't take away from the bag at all. Next, we wrapped it in duct tape, adding definition as needed to the feet and neck area as well as the waist and legs. And that's it, you're finished. This is very versatile if you want to use it as part of your Halloween costume. Maybe you want to be an axe murderer or something. It'd be pretty cool to carry around all night. It's not very heavy, so it'd be pretty easy to transport, even though it will be kind of bulky, and you might end up hitting a couple people if you're not careful. Just don't turn into a real murderer with it. You could also use it as a decoration out in your yard. If you're going to hang it in your yard where it's going to be easily beaten up by the elements, use really heavy-duty trash bags, or maybe inside your house in a window with a light behind it to kind of accentuate it. You don't really have to worry about that so much unless you have a random hole in your roof that you haven't fixed for some reason.
If you enjoyed this week's episode, remember to share it on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but feel free to share it wherever you like. And if you want, check us out later this week for some behind the scenes and some Q&As on our Periscope.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you nail that like button, hammer that subscribe button, and be back next week for the next video. Bye.